There are people who are not people. No, I can't go there today. Let's not go there today. I can't touch. Your species. You're not. These people shouldn't marry anybody. Sometimes they shouldn't even marry, period. If they marry, they'll mess up the person who's with them because they're too mysterious. They spend too much time in prayer. They'll even mess up children. That person is not an ordinary family guy who takes out bins and the game is completely rigged. It's been rigged from the start. Like, you know.
It's a bit of a different question, but do you think that there are certain marriages in the kingdom of God that need to happen?
Yes. Yes. I believe there are divine. There are people who are. No, I can't go there today. Let's not go there today. I can't touch. There are special callings. They're not ordinary people anymore. Before I put you in the womb, I knew you. I made you a prophet. You're not a prophet because somebody laid hands on you. You're a species. You are born this way. You can't take this thing off. This is who you are. There are people who are not really. These people shouldn't marry anybody. Sometimes they shouldn't even marry, period. And if they marry, it's got to be divinely selected. It has to be. That wrong choice when you're carrying a whole movement in your spirit because you're not. There are people who aren't ordinary. The day they were born, lightning struck the hospital 10 times. Everything fell up. You know what I'm saying? Jesus, there's a star. But there are people who are people. Yeah, God, everybody's special. But there are people who somebody did a sacrifice somewhere in life that birthed this individual. A Moses, that everybody has to die in that generation so Moses can be born. Like the violence even surrounding their birth is just different. These people cannot marry just anybody. In fact, sometimes they can't marry, period. Because if they marry, they'll mess up the person who's with them because they're too mysterious. They spend too much time in prayer. They live in children because they just spend too much time with God. That's why Paul said, it's better to not even marry. For him, he said, I wish all men were like me. He's not all men. Paul is peculiar. He's different. So that such a person has to have a family that understands a completely different dynamic. A completely different dynamic. That person is not an ordinary family guy who takes out bins and his life is very different. And so you have to understand, yeah, there are people, then there are people. This thing is not the same. The game is rigged. I know people want to pretend that the game is completely rigged. It's been rigged from the start. Like, there are people who are different in this world. They're specially anointed by God. And they are officers, they are sent, and they are born like that. Nobody laid hands, nobody appointed them, nobody imparted to them this grace. They carry something that's meant to change the whole world. When their parents see them in their manifestation, they remember the signs of their birth. That there were things they saw, just like Mary. The Bible says she treasured these things in her heart. There were things that were marking this one as different. You know, this child is different. The labor experience itself was different. Abraham Lincoln, I think it was, whose mom saw an angel before I knew that this boy would be born. I think it was Abraham Lincoln. Sometimes these people, certain sicknesses harass their whole life till they know who they are. The devil knows them and does it. They're born with a star on their head. They're going to empty a big portion of hell's economy. Big portion. So the deposit on them is a lot. It's huge. And they're very accountable for that deposit. So yes, those people, their marriages are, if they marry, it's actually selected. Otherwise, you know.